Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News for Thursday, December 4. A special welcome to our viewers on YouTube, TVJ International in the Cayman Islands and online at onespotmedia.com. I'm Carrie Simpson. Here's what we have in the bulletin.
Justice Minister calls on new JPs to join forces with police. 58 dogs find new homes in Canada and the US. And later in sports, Ravindra Latham centuries drive New Zealand's huge test lead.
Now the details. Justice Minister Delroy Chuck is urging newly sworn St. Mary Justices of the Peace to team up with the police. Mr. Chuck says their collaboration is key to driving down the country's murder rate. Details in this report.
St. Mary continues to be closely monitored by the police amid ongoing concerns about violent crime. Murders remain a major issue in several key areas.
St. Mary had 22 murders. Last year, it was 26. So it's 4 less than last year, a 15% decrease from last year. Across Jamaica, it was 621 murders up to yesterday, which is 457 murders less than last year, a 42.4% reduction.
Justice Minister Delroy Chuck says the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, has made notable progress over the years. He credits the improvements to the resources and investments provided to the force.
The government, 2 years back, decided we have to secure Jamaica. And we decided to increase the number of police officers, complement, from 11,000, approximately 11,000, to now 14,000. They get more vehicles than they have ever got. Not that they have enough, but we have been providing them with as many vehicles as possible so they can move across Jamaica. And that investment in the police officers is paying off. They're doing a fantastic job.
Despite these gains, Minister Chuck emphasizes that more work is needed to reduce violent activity, which is why he's calling on the 27 newly appointed Justices of the Peace on Wednesday in the parish to work with the police. He believes that criminal elements continue to operate in ways that threaten public safety.
621 murders in this little small country is far too many murders. I'm really hoping that there will be no further murders in St. Mary and not too many across Jamaica. If we can keep it certainly below 700, but if we can keep it closer to 650, it would be an important improvement and the direction that we are going forward to ensure that Jamaica is on the road to peace and good order.
Aliyah Bryant, TVJ News.
Still in St. Mary, a team led by Mayor of Port Maria Fitzroy Wilson conducted a walkthrough of Annotto Bay in an effort to restore order ahead of the Christmas season. Mayor Wilson has taken issue with vendors who are blocking sidewalks, putting residents at risk.
We want everyone to have earnings, and we will be dedicating different areas for these people to vend. The team is here, the police is doing there, the NEPM, the health department, they are doing their bit to see how we can regulate this. We understand the whole loss based on the recent hurricane. We understand that their livelihood, but it must be done in an orderly fashion and a healthy fashion.
He says many of the vendors are not using the stalls, contributing to the congestion.
We cannot make new stalls put down and nobody not using them. When they register for the market, we will address them in that registration process. So when they register and they want whatever stall to what specification, we will see to it. If it is that they provide their own stalls or we provide our stalls, we will adjust that. But we will not be putting in stalls and nobody's not using them.
In the meantime, Operations Manager for Region 2 at the National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA, Daniel Heaven, says the agency's role is to ensure that the area stays clean and that garbage is properly disposed of.
officers, members from the corporation department, and we will be looking at the compliance of business places with the disposal of their waste. As we go throughout the day, we hope that it will be beneficial, and we hope that we will have a positive effect today.
Millions of dollars worth of Hurricane Melissa relief supplies bound for Jamaica were reportedly stolen in the Peel region of Toronto, Canada, Tuesday night. The stolen shipping container held clothing, food, tools and generators. Now, the volunteer group, including several Jamaicans who gathered the donation, has been left devastated. More details from CTV News.
We actually was packing from here.
Michael Bennett and other volunteers have been gathering donations to send to Jamaica after the country was devastated by Hurricane Melissa. But when they came to their storage facility to load a 20-foot truck this morning, everything was gone.
For someone just to take it like that, it's hard to deal with that.
Bennett says he was shown security footage captured by the company Public Storage in Mississauga.
This is the lock that was cut.
He says it shows a flat truck break through a locked gate, back up to this blue trailer where the barrels and crates of goods were stored. The truck was loaded up before driving away, all around 5 in the morning.
It doesn't matter about the stuff and all that thing. The food is more important than even some of the other stuff that's there. You know what I mean? What are they going to do with it here? Absolutely nothing, man. Absolutely nothing.
Among the stolen items were nearly 24 barrels and crates, which had been filled with food, clothing, and generators. Donations meant to help those who are recovering from the deadly hurricane.
In 3 weeks, we collect over, I would say maybe $300,000 to $400,000 worth of stuff. That is food, equipment, tools, everything you could name it to go build back houses and feed the people.
Peel police confirmed they came to the storage facility just east of Derry Road and Goreway Drive and say it appears a theft occurred overnight. While the volunteers now work with police in their investigation, they remain strong, vowing not to quit.
They ain't gonna shake us. I think we're gonna do better.
Promising to gather donations again so Jamaica gets the help it needs.
A preliminary report from the U.S. National Transportation Safety Board is suggesting that the aircraft carrying Hurricane Melissa relief supplies to Jamaica on November 10 may have been dangerously overloaded. The crash in Florida claimed the lives of pilot 53-year-old Alexander Worm and his 22-year-old daughter Serena. Investigators say Worm had already loaded about 200 pounds of equipment before adding more supplies. The Beach B-100 departed from Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport but soon entered a steep dive and crashed into a lake in Coral Springs. The exact cause has not been determined and the investigation remains ongoing. 58 dogs from Jamaica now have new lives in Canada and the U.S. The animals were rescued from hurricane-hit areas. Details in this report from Dwayne Anderson.
Jamaica lost an estimated 1.2 million animals during Hurricane Melissa. That figure includes cattle, birds, and dogs. But the Ministry of Agriculture has revealed that not every animal that disappeared in Melissa died. A small group got a new life.
The ministry facilitated the export of 58 dogs that were rescued through some of these missions. From Negril all the way, some of them to the US, some of them to Canada.
The close to 60 dogs were chosen after being spotted in marooned, flood-hit areas during air missions led by the JDF and the Ministry of Agriculture. As for the animals still in Jamaica that need attention post-Melissa, the Agriculture Ministry said its vets are providing free services across the country.
We've already done in St. Elizabeth, St. James and Westmoreland. We're going to Clarkstown in Trelawney next week. That allows our farmers and pet owners to be able to carry out their animals, receive treatment, medication, wound care, vaccines and nutritional support.
To continue this effort into the medium term, help will be needed from overseas partners.
What we're actively pursuing now is the donation of a veterinary field hospital
to see if we can establish some direct veterinary support in the western end of the island, where 3 of our 4 veterinary stations were severely damaged. So that's one of the things that we've been reaching out to our international partners to see how we can get that done.
Mr. Green said the Ministry of Agriculture is also working with the Health Ministry and other stakeholders to help detect and stop the spread of leptospirosis. Dwayne Anderson, TVJ News.
And the Agriculture Minister says the government has a comprehensive plan for the development of agro-processing plants in every parish. Mr. Green says the parks are part of the government's strategy to boost agricultural production and processing.
Well, we have now clearly there are parishes with agri-parks, some with multiple agri-parks, where land is made available by the government on concessionary terms oftentimes, and where we try to ensure that not just the land, but things like storage, road networks, irrigation systems are put in. What we've started the process of doing is identifying government land in the parishes that we don't have an agri-park to see if we could make that available and turn that into an agri-park. So that work is ongoing. That work hasn't stopped. So already we've identified some land in St. Anne that we're partnering with the Jamaica Bauxite Mining Limited and the Agro-Invest Corporation. We may have some land in St. James. So what we're doing, that's the approach, to look at where the government has land, right? Good agricultural land, to look at things like access to water, and to bring in the Agro-Invest Corporation to turn that into an agri-park where we can have persons who are interested in agriculture get lands from the government.
It is time for a break. Stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. International-based Jamaican companies have been experiencing supply issues in the aftermath of the hurricane. Golden Crust Caribbean Restaurants, which operates mainly in the U.S., says it sources ingredients like Scotch bonnet peppers, thyme and scallion from local farmers. Now they're helping to get them back on their feet.
We're here to collaborate with a few farmers, like 10 farmers, giving them aid, bringing them aid to help them rebuild their farms in terms of fertilizers, seedlings, equipment. We're also here to give out goodie bags, so to speak, to people that needs help, and just to overall take a look at the community and see what's going on and how we can help.
This means a lot more to us than you can imagine. We are of the island. We are a family from the soil. And when we heard about the devastation that took place, we wanted to make sure that we were able to replant the soil. So we came back, helped out 10 farmers across the island, and not just giving them checks, but also being there side by side with them in the trenches, tilling soil, planting thyme. And to do that for them as people and customers of them, we buy from them for now almost 30 years. It's something that we felt that we had to do. Not just for us, but for them and for the communities. People need food to eat. And from what we saw, the crops were pretty ravaged. So anything we can do to accelerate it so that people can get back on their feet, it's important to us.
The company is also looking to help schools affected.
We want to help those hard-hit schools to get back on their feet. So we'll be working with the Ministry of Education. We've also been working with AFJ to make sure that the kids can learn. I know a lot of these schools are now shelters, people are displaced. So we want to make sure that we get back to business as usual, as best as possible, all things considered.
Concerns continue to be raised about debris and garbage piling up in parts of St. James. Regional Operations Manager of the Western Parks and Management WPM Waste Management Unit, Jermaine Jones, acknowledged that garbage collection has not always been consistent in recent years. However, he noted that since Hurricane Melissa, teams have been working daily.
So the WPM team has been working assiduously since the passage of Hurricane Melissa. We have used our compactor trucks, employed additional tipper trucks to be collecting waste across the region. Now, for some areas, it's not quick enough. And we too have also suffered some damages. However, on our staff, we have been pushing daily to ensure that we collect the garbage. In some areas, we've experienced significant uptick in waste production. Areas that used to contain maybe 1 or 2 compactor loads are now going to 8. And we understand, because now is the time when persons would have suffered damages and they are producing more, they're buying food, etc.
Result, WPM is urging residents to separate storm debris from regular household garbage to help speed up cleanup efforts and reduce the risk of rodent infestations. The agency also stressed that continued community cooperation is essential to managing the increased waste effectively.
Separate the storm waste, so it means the tree cuttings, the zinc, the board, the bulky waste, etc. Separated from the residential waste, because that makes it easier for compactors to come in. Now, rats typically, they'll hide under the zinc or they'll probably hide under the board, but they feed on what is produced in the household waste. So that is where the issues will arise. So we're encouraging persons to just ensure that they continue to bag their waste until we get there. Ensure that you separate from the bulky waste, because whenever our teams come, they have to spend that additional time and pick through the bulk waste or separate the bulk waste for you.
It's now time for the Business Minute.
The Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance, CRIF, which recently paid out $91 million to Jamaica following the devastation caused by Hurricane Melissa, says it will be launching a new insurance product aimed at protecting the most vulnerable. The new initiative, called the Livelihood Protection Policy, is intended for individuals and small businesses that cannot afford traditional insurance coverage. Further afield, companies cut back on job cuts last month. U.S. employers announced just over 71,000 layoffs in November, according to the outplacement firm Challenger Gray and Christmas. That's roughly half the amount from October, when a surge in pink slips came from several of the nation's bigger companies. As for November, the fields that saw the most job losses include telecommunications, technology, and food. Analysts say nearly 1.2 million jobs were cut so far this year. That's the highest amount recorded in a January through November stretch since 2020. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Prince Moore.
Thank you, Prince Moore. Time now for the top regional and international stories.
In the region, a 30-year-old Trinidadian woman who appeared in a TikTok video urging Venezuela's president to kill Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Visesa has pleaded guilty and will be sentenced on December 18. Police say Aliana Samaru was granted $50,000 bail. The case comes as the police commissioner warns that online threats would lead to prosecution. This after a 48-year-old man was also charged for threatening former Foreign Affairs Minister Dr. Amory Brown and his family. And on the international scene, public health experts are sounding the alarm over major changes to U.S. vaccine policy under the Trump administration. The CDC's advisory committee meets this week to review long-standing protocols, including the timing of the hepatitis B shot for newborns. Some members have raised doubts about the current schedule, but experts caution that delaying the birth dose could lead to more than 1,400 preventable infections a year, insisting the vaccine remains safe and effective. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Aaliyah Bryant.
Thank you, Alia. And we take another break. Sports is next.